Today we're checking back in with Terra's Luna coin, performing some technical analysis and making some predictions on where we can expect to see Luna go in the near future. Let's get into it. Welcome back into the Luna chart, guys. If you'd like to buy Luna or want some free Bitcoin, there are a couple of links down in the description of today's video. But let's get stuck straight into the analysis. So it's been a few weeks since we've taken a look at Luna, and to be honest, from a pricing point of view, things really haven't changed. We're still hovering around that $50 mark, currently sitting at $51.76. But let's quickly take a look at what we expected to happen versus what actually did occur over the past few weeks. So if we zoom in here, as you can see, what we had expected was a move downwards, which definitely occurred, and then an upwards move as this sort of upside down flag pattern formed. And now, whilst we thought that we wouldn't be able to get through this key point of resistance here at $54, that did manage to occur. We still followed the intended pattern. Now, how can I say that? Well, simply it's because the flag pattern remained intact and then it did eventually break downwards as we had expected. It just took a few more days in order to do so. And instead of being a typical flag, it turned into more of a pennant. As you can see here, a few different points of contact. I'm just going to move that line down there. As you can see, as we started to get to the end of things on the 9th of February, we really started seeing it was okay, now getting a bit unsteady. Then overall, the actual whole crypto market took a bit of a hit on that 10th of February mark. So that's where we sort of really did dip back down. But it looks like right now we have sort of just been trending sideways for a brief period of time. Of course, another big dip here in price, but of course the volume isn't really there showing that there's been a big dump. So that's all in all pretty all right at this point in time. Right now being supported by this 200-day moving average. So whilst we're currently sitting at $51.66, our 200-day moving average is sitting just below us at $50.19. So really that is the one to look out for at the moment. Right now we can get rid of these lines. These are not in play, but what we are going to certainly do is extend out our key horizontal points, one being at 54, our key resistance point at this point in time, and then 43 where we do have our support line. So as you can see, moving that into place, things really haven't actually changed that much. Probably if we reset the chart there, the most noticeable difference is a decline in the volume. So that shows the selling is starting to subside, and interestingly enough, we are now starting to see, I suppose, a few more higher lows. And I'm hoping what we're going to see is a little trend start to form itself. Now, how's that going to look? Well, I'm hoping that we can see from here, 31st of January being the bottom at that $43 mark. And of course, over here as well, we've just hit a little low on this day, which was the 20th of February at $47.31. I'm hoping we do see another touch of this mark in order to form a nice uptrend, and it will be quite a sedate one if that does come into play. Whether or not that is the case, I'm not too sure, but we do have that 200-day moving average supporting us, so I'm not sure it will occur. But pending we keep bouncing and going, in an upwards direction, maybe this will hollow out a bit and we will be able to see a bit of a touch. 20-day moving average right now, $53 is where it's currently sitting at. That is also a major point of resistance for us, so just below the the $54 horizontal point of resistance. If we're able to break above these two markers, that will be very, very good, and it will mean then our target will be that 50-day moving average. At the moment sitting at $63.40, but I expect by the time it does potentially break out, we will be below on that 50-day moving average, the $60 mark. So all in all, realistically, all we're doing right now is just playing a bit of a waiting game. Now, interestingly enough, you know how we put in place, of course, our upside down flag pattern here? It almost looks like there is a larger version of this occurring as well. So you can see here, we had our top point on the 15th of January a nice little high of $87. We then dip down to that $43 mark. It is almost looking like we have the exact same pattern in play on a bigger scale. I'm sure you can see what I'm drawing up here. Now, where would I put our, I suppose, markers? Well, I want to sort of make a bit of a pennant with it. That is the sort of, I suppose, angle I'm going for at the moment. So realistically, I think top ends are probably around about here. There we go. I'd be putting something in place a bit similar to this if I was going to chart something that does look to be a pennant. Now, whether or not this is actually something that is genuinely going to come into fruition, I'm not 100% sure, but you can see with this sort of a pattern, we are going to start getting a bit tighter. All in all, we'll basically just have to see what unravels with this one. Let's have a quick look at a few more indicators as well. So first and foremost, RSI, and I imagine this has dropped. And as you can see, well, yeah, it has dropped a bit, but since we last looked at it, it was at that oversold sort of mark. So I'm really not surprised it has come up a bit more. We did on that red day dip down from the previous day of 47.25 down to 40.74. That was on the 17th of Feb. We're now currently sitting as of the 21st of Feb at 43.75. So we're still on the lower end. Plenty of room for us to move in either direction. Hopefully we do start to see something move north, but you know, it still remains to be seen at this point in time. Let's have a look at the MACD as well, one of our most reliable indicators. And interestingly enough, we are in a green period at the moment. As I mentioned, we are seeing movement upwards, high lows, that sort of thing. But unfortunately, as you can see here, it has been shallow. And the lines of the 12-day EMA and the 26-day EMA are looking very, very close together at this point in time. You would have expected on the crossover here of the 12-day above the 26-day, we would have had a decent spike. And whilst we did have a few green days, it was really from, I suppose, the day of the cross around about here on the 5th of February. We were on a low of that day of $53, and we only got to a high in a few days time of $60, so not too much, and you can really see that from how shallow this green period is. Ideally what we see is a nice little pump to the market, see Luna go up and continue this trend. Interestingly enough, it did look like things were starting to slow down, but we have a high day here indicating that potentially it may not be the case. We just need to see that price maintain itself for that to actually occur today and hold, of course, that 200-day moving average mark. So in saying that, what is my target for today? Well, it's simply going to be the same as my last video. Ideal case scenario, $54. Of course, it looks like we are trending sideways now. As we zoom out, you get to, I suppose, put things into perspective a bit more. We've had a really good run, and of course, as a result now, it is time for some consolidation and wait for the overall crypto market to pick up so that Luna can start then moving in the right direction a bit more longer term. That wraps up today's analysis on LunaCoin, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. Of course, as well, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I'll leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.